Hi guys, my name's Cameron from Smyths Inc hairdressing in Noosa. Clive sent me the dame up for me to colour. This was my mood board that I put together. The look I'm going for is from corporate Japanese, business-like during the week, and then retro punk at the weekend, using the muck colours. This is what I came up with. They said dame. So, what I did, coloured, pre-lightened everything, used Vivid through the actual front area, and then for the weekend she gets these beautiful sort of colours that come out, and we can bring them out so she can punk it up. So during the week she can be corporate, and then weekend we can get this nice retro sort of punk. And we have the colour that sneaks. I love colour that sneaks out, and this is a great way of actually just having a little sneaky colour that comes out through the back area.
Good morning, greetings, salutations. We are doing things a little bit different this morning. This is pre-recorded. This is usually the Happy Mondays, but this is a very damp, cold, bleak house Sunday where I'm in Sydney, obviously, and we have got two amazing guests on the show today. Obviously, I'm Kyle, and then we can see Jackie O, and then we have another infamous guest from up the north, but anyway, we'll get into that in a second. But welcome everyone, and as I say, we're doing things a little bit different today.
So Clive, why don't you tell us why we're doing things a little bit differently today and what happened last Tuesday?
Ouch. Yes, so the reason why we're doing this today is because after the live last week, some of you may have guessed that I needed a little bit of time off, and so I took Tuesday off, and obviously I was at home with Jane, and many of you probably heard before, but I've spent most of my young life racing motorbikes, and one of the things you do with motorcycles is that you need really good balance. And so from the age of 9, I have been riding a unicycle, and quite successfully. I've never really fallen off it or hurt myself, but on Tuesday, I rode it for a while and put it back in the garage. And then when Lulu got home from school, I was like, look what your dad can do. So I pulled it back out and I hit a stone and it went from underneath me, and I have a broken wrist, unfortunately. So here is the vehicle of choice, as you can see. And if anyone's interested in a one owner, previous owner unicycle, it is yours for gifting, because I think my days of being a stuntman are well and truly over. But as I mentioned to Scott, I'll be sticking to wing walking and human cannonball from now on. But unfortunately, I have a broken wrist. Look, the good news is it's a clean break. I've done it before in my stuntman life, but Jane said it's a bit like a roast pork. I've got a crackling on the top and the bandages underneath. So I'm going to, this comes off on Tuesday. I'm going to go and see the fracture clinic, and I'm going to try and convince them that I don't actually need to anything such heavy duty. So I'm out of the washing up at the moment, and many other things. Incidentally, you should try brushing your teeth with the other hand. It's a moment. Anyway, enough about me. Cameron, welcome to the show, mate.
Good afternoon, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. So for those of you that don't know Cameron, this is Cameron from Smyths. And so Cameron, why don't you start with telling us about your hairdressing backstory?
Okay, well, basically, I was born in Sydney, in Manly. So I have an English voice. I use it for the tourists. It's good for business. Now, I went to the UK when I was 5, where I trained in hairdressing. And I was really, really lucky. I started hairdressing in 1980, and it was just at a great time when there was so much going on. For me, I am an ex-punk rocker, and we had 5 hairdressers in the family at the time. So at school, I was doing friends' hair, my hair, anything I could have a go at, I was actually doing it. My first love was fashion design. I wanted to get into fashion design, but I thought I couldn't draw, but I can sketch, and other people can recognize what it is. So hairdressing was the next sort of step. And from the beginning, the other thing that I came from was a soccer sort of background. And soccer, you have to train and practice. Kicking a ball against a brick wall. You know, I heard David Beckham talk about this not long ago. He used to kick a ball to hit the golf flags on a golf course at the back of his house every day. And that was the first thing when I started hairdressing. I wanted to learn everything, and I just had to practice at night, whether it was on a mannequin or whether it was on a human being. I actually even used to put perm rollers and setting rollers in my dog, sit the dog between my legs watching TV and just roll and roll and roll. Because the first girl that was teaching me, I had a part-time job as I was working for an interior design thing. So we were lifting furniture. So I had big shoulders and big hands. And she kept saying, you should have been a bricklayer, you know. And I said, no, this is what I want to do. I want to do hairdressing. So from then on, I just decided anything that, when somebody came through the door, if I couldn't do it, I made sure next time they came through the door, I could do it with confidence. Or I could pretend I was confident and just sort of bluff it. And the other thing, I never said no. You know, if anybody says, can you do this? Can you do that? You know, whether it was, you know, taking the towels down to the laundrette, whether it was, you know, sort of going off and doing somebody's hair in the evening when I was training as a junior, I just always said sort of yes. And I think that's, you know, I still have that sort of, that thing. I find it really hard to say no to many, many things. I said this year I was going to take a year off from a lot of things because I get involved in quite a few charity rides and that kind of thing with motorbikes. And little did I know that, you know, the whole world was just going to turn around and we all were going to have time off.
You picked the right year to do it.
Yeah, so, and then we started coming back to Australia in 91, so we went back and forth 4 times, and this time I've been back in 15 years.
Yeah, great. So so tell us about Smyths, the salon, and the salon philosophy, and the target demographic that you have up there, and the salon team.
Okay, the salon itself has been going for about 35 years. Colin Smythe was the original owner. And when I came back 15 years ago, Liz, who I've worked with before, she'd been with Colin for 25 years. She said, you know, what's your plans? And I said, look, I've had salons before, and I would like to have another one. So we approached Colin and we said, look, when you're ready to retire, we would love to buy the salon. He said straight away, here's the key, and off you go. So we're like, whoa. And you know, the philosophy we've always had in that salon is nobody is more important than anybody else. You know, we all sweep up, we all make coffees. As that client comes through the door, we have a 2-second rule. We all say hello to them, and they are everybody's client until they actually leave the salon. Yeah, that has been our philosophy.
Awesome.
And we never, fortunately, I know Clive will know about this as well. I've worked in the UK where, you know, some of the hairdressers became like rock stars, and they thought they were a lot better than what they actually were. You know, for me, that smile on a client's face, or your hair going down the street, you know, that's worth a fortune, you know. And it's from the person that answers the phone right the way through to the end. You know, everybody's important, and that's the team, you know. And we used to have a thing where I love it when people sort of say, oh, you're Smyths Inc, are you? So they knew the salon, they knew the philosophy of the salon, but then they didn't know who owned it, and that was great. You know, they knew members of the team, but they didn't know who actually owned it.
You didn't say Colin's getting younger then.
Yeah, that's right. And now this is. I actually get called Colin a lot, which is like 75. Yeah. And I'm like, holy moly.
He looks good.
but then, things changed. Like we sat down with everybody about a year and a half ago, and they said, like, okay, we need to move on to the next step. What's the next step? And we had to put our faces out there a bit more. So each sort of, 5 years, everything sort of changes. And we're just I think when you think you're it's wrong,
Yeah.
We got 15 salons around us, and they're all good. They're all good, they really produce some great work. So I think if you can go in and enjoy what you do, it's not hard work. It's not hard work.
Yeah.
It's not like working, is it, when you go in and do that, which is awesome. So, I mean, I've known Colin for many years, and I know that obviously the Smythes brand has been around, as you mentioned, has been around for many years. But how long have you been with Muck? And I know a little previous, you got a bit of a previous. So, how did you become part of the Muck family?
Okay. We were with a huge company before, and we were with them for 30 odd years. So, this was a big decision for us. We were kind of getting a little bit bored, then you start looking around, and that kind of thing. And one of the reps who, she's a good friend as well, she's Kim, she said, look, I just want to have a coffee with you guys and catch up. I've not seen you for ages and that kind of thing. And straight away I said, oh, what are you up to? And there was a little moment when she said something to me which sort of started to sort of click. And it was the fact that you can have the one tube that can be mixed with 5 different lotions. And that blew me away. I was like, holy, for years, we've been doing the same thing all the time and all the time. So we have 2 things. So you've got to run a business, and you've also then got to actually get excited about a sort of, particular idea. I went back in the salon and I just said, Liz, how's Kim? And she's great. She's doing really well. Hey, I said, she's onto something at the moment. She's working with this company and it's called Muck. And, the 85% derived from plant extracts. So, I'm very into sort of looking after my body and looking after everything's around me. I've been surrounded by hairspray for like 40 years, and so Clive's a good advocate for looking after himself with his arm. Yeah. And sometimes as a hairdresser, you need a little spark.
Yeah.
And the same thing I said to Liz, I said, yeah, the thing that came out of the conversation was really interesting. It was about, mixing one tube with 5 different lotions and getting different results. And I just left that with her. And then she texted me later on and she's, hey, you said something to me today. Tell me a little bit more about it. So I said, well, actually, funny enough, I'm actually on the computer right now and I'm looking about Muck, and looking about what their philosophy is. And for us as a salon, we've got to be looking at new things. We've got to be looking at more sustainable things, more sustainable ways of actually doing our job. Yeah. And so we looked at it, and it was a huge step for us. We then got the products in and the colours. We said, well, look, let's test them. We're going to test a couple of little companies. And because we were ready then to have a bit of a change, we actually covered the labels of the tubes and didn't tell the girls. And we said, we just play. Let's have a night of playing.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah, because it wasn't about our decision. And we chose brunettes, reds, and blondes. And the shine was we were blown away by the shine. And I know I've spoken to Clive about this before. It reminded me of years ago, DJs used to have white labels, and they put the white labels over the actual track. So nobody else knew what they were. And that was where we got that idea from. So it was a team decision as well as a business decision as well.
Yeah, that's great. And so tell us about the experience of since then, and and how it's actually been for the salon and your experience with Muck since then.
A lot of it comes from the clients. We're very much, we don't push products on people. We put them in front of them, we talk about what we're using, and that is it. If somebody's interested in it, then they'll buy it. You know, and everything has to be, the colour has to be right, the smell has to be right. What people are thinking about, first of all, is how is it going to look in my bathroom? You know, usually it doesn't matter what it is, but how it looks on the shelf and it looks in the bathroom. Look fresh, it look new, it looks great on our shelves, and it lasts and it's affordable.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of the time I use around about 3 products. I always have been that kind of a hairdresser. I like 3 products, and I'll just use them all the time because they're usually products that I can use on everybody, regardless of the texture of the hair. You know, I can use it in some way, and everybody has their own 3 favorites. And the same with the clients. You know, they'll stick with one and they'll just carry on and on and on, and it lasts as well. You know, the shampoos and that kind of thing. You know, so many times I'll look on the history on the computer and the clients will say, oh, hey, you're going on with the shampoo. Hey, I've still got half, you know. So it's, you know, great from that point of view. So it's a win-win for them.
Yeah. And the colour, how's that been for the team and how they've been enjoying that side of it?
Well, fortunately, we can play around with colour. It's got us excited again. And Liz is my business partner, and same thing. She's been hairdressing, you know, 40 years sort of thing. And for me, that's been hairdressing 40 years, and her hairdressing 40 years, to get excited about doing colour again is rare in hairdressing, you know, because, you know, we've tried everything, you know, we've done everything, and to get everybody excited, and it gets you thinking colour. It gets you back to thinking back to the basic with the wheel. Yeah. You know, and I think it's great.
Yeah, you know, that's the part that I love, actually. I love that people get excited about colour again. You know, I really, really love that aspect of salons changing over to matte colour. It's great.
Yeah, and it's made you more creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I know from a business standpoint as well, I mean, the profitability side of using muck is insane, you know. I mean, I couldn't imagine of working with some of those major other brands with all the different sub-ranges that they have. And as you said, you nailed it with your 5 tubes, with the 1 tube, sorry. You know, anyway, moving on. You would have seen at the beginning of this segment, you have created an incredible video. And I must admit, I watched it just before we came back on, and to take something to that level, I think is extraordinary. And you know, just and congratulations, it is fabulous. I mean, she's been on a massive holiday. She's been in quarantine for a while. Definitely, she nearly did the 3-month mark. That was due to my crazy sense of humour putting Cameron McTavish on the box. They were looking for a McTavish around Noosa, but she made it there eventually, and she's come back. But tell me a little bit about the video. I mean, the lengths you've gone is insane.
I know when we talked and we decided to send the dame up to Noosa, the first thing I said is, I'll take her out and I'll show her around Noosa. We're really proud of where we live. And so that was the first plan. And I was waiting for her to arrive. Just so, because I had all these ideas written down of where we could actually take her. So then the other thing is, I'm a planner. I plan everything. I have notes on top of notes and mood boards. So it starts off with a mood board. And the mood board was, I'm very interested in hidden colour. And I think it stems from, I used to work in an area back in the UK where it was full of banks. So clients wanted to be corporate during the week, and then at the weekend, put a little curl in the hair, and out comes a flash of colour. You know, that excites me. And whether it's at the back or the front, when somebody bends forward and you see a little bit of colour underneath, you know, it's that sneaky little bit of, oh, you know, it's like seeing a tattoo, you know, somebody with a tattoo that you didn't think they ever had one. And so that was the first plan, is come up with a mood board. So I'm very influenced from Japanese retro punk at the moment, which my mood board is like this. You know, so awesome. I'll start off with lots of bits of paper and I'll just stick them all together. And so we've gone from from corporate round to retro punk, which is all the colours. So then came the video, and the way we had to plan it is literally we had an hour to sort of film it. So it works really well because walking down the street with the actual dame, which I had to hold at one hand underneath, I had my jacket on and trying to do a selfie, and then my friend's filming at the same time. He's a camera guy, so it's really good. I ended up, doubled up and backwise, and just so I could be out of the shot. But we needed to park up and just go straight down the street and film it. And he reckons I'm the luckiest guy in ever because, note number 7, park at the Surf Club Noosa, hit the beach, walk along Hastings Street, park at the other end. He said, how the hell do you just get parking spaces wherever you go? I said, it's on my notes. It's down, it's not, there's no room for error.
You're using Colin's disabled badge. You wouldn't have done that.
So if it's on my notes, it's going to happen. So, and then the editing was hilarious because we just could not stop laughing. And making her real-like, we've got another 20 minutes of footage that, had to stop it. And same again, try and get it so it's like a minute. And it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun. And if you can get education and fun, together, then that's great.
100%. I mean, I love it. To me, it reminded me of a Thunderbirds thing. And, I pick up on subliminal things. And that was that you did that in one shot down Hastings Street, right? No one knew you were coming. And, it was really, really cool. I loved it. It was awesome. So.
And you got to get a shot with the lifeguards.
That was my favourite.
And she actually, I don't know if you noticed, but she fell in love with the lifeguard. She turned her head. So I'm squashed up in the wheel well with this thing turning it. And I've got little mic to the camera guy going, okay, go, film.
I love it. I mean, I've walked down Hastings Street with you and I've had some funny looks as well without the dame. So I can imagine what it was like walking with her. And incidentally, she's here.
Beautiful.
She's a bit cold. And she's obviously
Arsenal.
She's still celebrating Arsenal's FA Cup win last week, but it's a bit like, she's a bit cold, but you can't really see it on the camera.
After Noosa, she's going to be cold.
Yeah. It is like Bleak House in here, like Charles Dickens movie.
Left a few lonely hearts behind in Noosa. Now, incidentally, with the colour there, it's how that was done was I had to slowly work on some areas hidden at the back to test first. So start off with your powder liner with 3% and just slowly mix it up to 6%. And then just continue and leave it on slowly. Let it happen slowly. And then there's individual foils, like little singles have gone in there with the Vivid afterwards. And then Vivid through the top. And so that's where I've got that.
What Vivid shades did you use, Cameron?
Oh, good question. So I had in there...
didn't plan that, did you?
It's the sea blues, the yellows, the daisy yellow, the sea blue, a little bit of the purple through the sort of top. I liked more because of the retro colours. So they were going for more of those. Yellow is a beautiful... I love yellow and I love the apple green. They are my two go-to favourites at the moment. And I've always loved blue going through black hair, so it reminds me of that. It's that little clash. But literally I had to sort of it didn't give me a lot of hair to work with on the top, and especially to try and get it hidden. So that was the plan. So everything had to be sectioned off. So I think it was 11 o'clock at night when I finished colouring it. One night, which is great. If you're doing that in the salon and there's people walking past, it just creates interest.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing that I try and get across to people now. I've got a choice at the beginning of the week how interesting my week's going to be. And I can make it really exciting by doing different things, or I can just be, it's just a job. And it's never been like that for me. It doesn't matter how many hours you're doing.
I love that.
Look at the thing we're playing with. We can play with colour like that. It's just amazing.
Absolutely.
The one thing that really impressed me is that the fact that you did the mood board, you put a thought process behind it. It wasn't like, I'm just going to pre-lighten some stuff and then I'm going to see what happens. I love it when people have a plan and you execute it, whether it be a haircut, whether it be colour, whatever it be. You know, there's so many times I've seen people on stage and they go, I'm just going to make something up. Well, that's not going to cut it for me. You know what I mean? I want you to, and the fact that you've gone to all that trouble was really spectacular. So I applaud you for that. There you go. The unicycle's just fallen over again.
I think that's the problem. It's wonky. Is that a wonky wheel?
It is now. Yeah, the cargo's a lot heavier than when I last rode it. So yeah, I will not be riding that again. Anyway, my next question we have for you is: if you were stuck on a desert island, and I've got what two products would you take? Well, you can't live without. Now I know you've said 3. But before we lead into that, I mean, if you could, I've been to Noosa, and if there's anything like a desert island, it is Noosa, because I know you can't get anything to eat after 8 o'clock at night. So, according to Amanda Oxley's post recently, and the fact that you were working in the salon till 11 o'clock at night, good grief, you would certainly wouldn't have got anything to eat after that. But do share with us, what are your 3 products? What do you go to? Yeah,
it's got to be Ultra Soft Pink Shampoo. The pink colour shampoo, ultra soft. It is just the deep, it's just amazing, absolutely amazing. And then my other 2 would be 20 in 1.
Yeah.
And hairspray. I use hairspray all the time. I blow dry it in the hair, put it in the hair, I scrunch it in the hair. It's a very light product. And as soon as you dry any alcohol off it, it's really pliable. And rather than sort of waxing hair, you know, I've always been a hairspray person. And I think that comes from, Clive will know about this, is when you're working on models and you want to change the look, to be able to spray hairspray in there and carry on drying, you get an instant volume. Yeah. And then you can take a picture. You can then brush it out. You've then got another look. I used to do a workshop where we would show 5 different ways of doing a model's hair. And you're making use of that time that you have a model. You have them for 3 hours, maybe, 2 hours, and you've got to have 5 looks. So you've got to have a plan. You start off with whether the hair is down straight. You start off with a curl. You start off with a curl. You then brush that out. You then go straighter. And then your final look can be gunged. You can be putting product in to really make it grungy. But you've got a plan. And you've made good use of that one model. Rather than start off with the too much gel or too much wax, or so it's choosing the right product for that client.
I think it's that pliability, whatever it is. As you know, I've got my you see them in the live every week, but I don't want anything that's going to overcommit me. Do you know what I mean? I want to be able to build and layer those products, which is obviously very unique. It's that's what Muck is amazing for.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that 6 in 1 is absolutely such a unique product for doing exactly that.
So good, and and then you've got your others. You've got your protecting spray for your irons, and dry shampoo. A lot of people are using dry shampoo up here at the moment.
Just love it.
We're very lucky, and what's interesting is working in different areas. Whether you do a lot of wash and leave, or whether you do a lot of blow dries, or it's practicing with those products. And
it's not overcomplicated either. You don't have 60, 80 SKUs of styling where there's no duplicates really. So it's it's easy to use. Anyway,
also I think people don't realise, especially hairdressers, we don't need to know everything that's in it. If I tell a client, I really love this and it works every time I do your hair, this feels great.
Yeah.
That is enough.
Yeah.
You get the odd client that wants to know more, which is fine, but more often not, if I'm using it and it feels great,
that's a recommendation enough.
Yeah.
It looks like the sun's come out where you are, Jude. You're getting a tan.
I know. It's amazing.
I'm jealous, honestly.
I'm pushing the sun over that way.
Yeah, I know. We're talking to Cameron as a ray of sunshine. Talking of sunshine, Cameron, I know you are very active, as you mentioned earlier on. You look after yourself. So what do you like to do in your spare time?
Surfing. Surfing is my main love. I do ride a motorbike as well. So being able to just at the end of the day maybe go off and have a ride, clear your head. The main thing is clear your head. I've actually got back into sort of walking around the area where I live as well.
Swansea.
Yeah, Taunton.
Those of you that don't know, I stayed at Cameron's house, and he lives in a place called Taunton, which, as you can hear from his, are you from Manchester?
I'm actually Cheshire, which is
Cheshire.
right next door.
Cheshire, yeah. It's Kelly.
It's a Yorkshire sort of accent.
Yeah, he's like, Taunton. I thought that was really funny. It's like, Taunton breakfast, Taunton a drink. Have you been walking around Taunton? I love it.
So now I cannot drive past that sign without hearing that in the back of the car. And I've never looked at the sign like that before, so that's amazing. But no, what I've been doing, we've changed because of the last, maybe 4 months, we've changed our work hours. So I now work 4 days a week, but longer hours. So I do 5 days over 4 days. So it allows me to be off on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, which is great. First time ever.
Amazing.
I'm absolutely loving it. So now my plan is whether I'm having a surf in the morning on a Monday, I'll have a coffee and I'll just go for a walk and I listen to podcasts, and it's great because it's 40 minutes. I hurt my back recently and it was the best thing for my back. So it came about from that. And I'm finding streets and places that I've never even seen. I've been here 15 years in this area because, you can go to work and you can go for a surf or a coffee, you can go shopping, and you don't.
If you walk around the place, it's amazing.
Walk, and it's great. It's good for the soul. And
you surf every day?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, or stand-up paddle or surf. And,
you'd need a lot of balance for that, wouldn't you? Are you interested in buying a second-hand unicycle?
There's another element that I'm doing. I like trying new things, and there's another thing now called foil surfing. So that's my new little love. I want to try that more towards the end of the year.
Incidentally, you mentioned when you're on your walks you like to listen to podcasts. This is not on my list, but I'm intrigued. I'm a massive, and so is Kelly, massive podcast fans. What are you listening to right now?
Funny, you got me onto Anthony Whitaker, which was good. But there's a really good guy called John Henry Style. And he did a series on TV on SBS On Demand. Yeah. And he talks to 5 or 6 different businesses. Wow. And everything from his programs and his Instagram is John Henry Style, and he's in Harlem in America, and so he's basically trying to get Harlem businesses off the ground, and it's everything from jam through to alcohol, but it's looking at the business in a different way, whether it's the colours of the bottles or the jam one, for instance, the girl was in the kitchen all the time making the jams, and he got her out talking to people. Wow. And she's a beautiful half-caste girl with this amazing hair with blonde bits on the end, and she's just full of energy. And what was in the jar was her. Wow. And so he breaks everything down into business terms, and there's got a bit of jazz music behind it as well, which is very New York sort of thing. So but I'm listening to him a lot at the moment.
I love it. That sounds right up my alley as well. Yeah. John Henry Style, for those of you that missed it.
And so it's on SBS On Demand. And on the SBS On Demand, it's called Hustle.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he breaks down, the meanings behind, profit, venture capital, that kind of thing. He puts it all in layman's terms, but it's done in a fun way. And, it takes businesses that are doing, 100,000 a year to 200,000. And, he gives them ways of actually doing it. And I think as hairdressers, we need to look at, or not we need to look, but we have got so much out there that we can look at, whether you go into a place and have tyres put on your car, the way they do, I had 4 tyres put on my car and they gave me a consultation. And you just think, that's amazing. He sat me down and said, okay, tell me a little bit about your driving. Where do you drive? What do you do? It made no difference really to the tyres that I was having, but it made me feel special, and let me get you a coffee, Okay, so you're in Noosa, and we've got, 115 roundabouts in Noosa. No traffic lights. So, and we just had a it took 2 or 3 minutes. But I came out of there feeling great. So, same thing. We need to get back to basics in hairdressing, more so after, the situation in the last sort of 3 or 4 months.
Totally.
looking after people. Even if we sit down and, hey, look, how's it going? How's work? Have you been able to work all the way through it? I know you're only in for a blow dry today, but how about, I do something a little bit different for you?
Yeah.
It's 2 seconds and it can make all the difference to somebody, so.
Actually, talking of the roundabouts in Noosa, I've never seen a place with so many roundabouts. I reckon if they were going to make a version of Fast and the Furious, they would in Noosa they would call it the Slow and the Infuriated. Anyway,
there's a guy that lives on a hill, and he makes round concrete, and that's all his job is. He's worth a fortune.
Well, you probably did my wrist. Anyway, talking of films, what is your favourite film?
It's got to be Ocean's 11. All the Ocean's 11 and 12 and 13. It just
because you're a surfer.
It's kind of that's because of the thing, but it's the planning. I think it's it's. A lot of people probably would say I'm a control freak, but I just love to plan. Awesome. I've got posted notes everywhere of, our conversations, it's really hard on a Zoom to actually write and look at people at the same time, so that's our next skill, to be able to, because you hear things, you hear snippets of things in conversations, and
it's funny, if you ask Lulu what her favourite film is, she says it's Ocean's 8. She goes the girl version.
Oh, the girl version. Oh, yeah, that's right.
She loves Ocean's 8, yeah. Now, if anyone was going to play you in a movie, and someone was going to make a movie of your life, who would you want to play you?
That's a great question. There'd probably be two. One's actually not an actor, but Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy. And because he has that, he's always thinking. He's always thinking. And Alexander McQueen, I know he's not an actor, but what I love about Alexander McQueen is he
might have a struggle, he's dead.
yeah. So he's not available at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a silent movie.
Yeah.
No, I think he has this ability to create things. Doesn't have to be there on stage, but it's just always looking for things, My two favourite places to get inspiration for any show work or anything is Bunnings and
God's
Spotlight. Yeah, Spotlight, something like that, because we did a mannequin thing. I was lucky enough, we did the Mannequin of the Year award not long ago, which I was pretty lucky to pick up an award.
Yeah, congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. And, the chest piece of that is actually zip ties, from Bunnings. So on an Alice band. So I put the zip ties and then pull them round and then pull the cotton up so you get this curve on it. Because I knew I had to build something, whether it was going to be out of chicken wire and then, zip ties, came into my head as I'm walking around. But the funny thing is I have everything I put on, whether it's wigs or anything, I tried by myself. So it's a little secret nobody knows.
Yeah. Just for another podcast.
Another podcast. So I have this chest piece on and I'm pulling the cotton up to get the right curve. And I'm in the bathroom and my wife is laughing her head off. She said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I look like I'm going down to the Mardi Gras in Sydney. I just have the chest piece there. But to get that right curve, I had to literally wear it." So, I get inspiration everywhere you go.
Actually, I was looking at that mannequin behind you with the bust. We should have welded the dame on that, actually. We just sent it down.
Yes, that was for the... I used that bit for that other mannequin, for the Mannequin of the Year award. So that was the actual chest piece. But yeah, I make clothes as well. So I kind of, hence, that's why she's in the background. Actually, you forget what's actually in the background, don't you, when you sit on the scene?
Yeah.
Well, I've got two more questions for you, and then I'm going to hand you over to Judi. But listen, one of the things that we struggle with, I think every salon struggles with it, is what do you listen to in the salon? Those of you that seem to do the lives, what my taste in music is, and obviously that doesn't suit anyone because there's an age difference, exactly the same as what you get in the salon. So, what playlist? Do you have Spotify in the salon?
Yep.
What's your go-to playlist? Because we'd all love to sort of share our playlists, and we can put that in the notes afterwards as well. So what do you listen to?
There's a couple at the moment. Winston Surf Shirt is a really
Winston
good
surf shirt. Is that Winston with a Y?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that just then, lots of different ones come up. And Black Pumas.
Oh, you got me onto that before.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
a really, really good one. I mean, I love a lot of soul, you know, and salon music has always been an ongoing battle with, you know, from what your assistants want to put on and what, you know, at the end of the day, it's for the clients, you know, they're paying. But, you know, music can make such a difference to halfway through the day if it's starting to dip a little bit. You know, you can lift people. You know, back in the UK, we used to work till 7 o'clock on a Saturday, and from 5 till 7.
We still do down here, mate.
From 5 till 7, we used to pump up the music, you know. So, and it became people wanting to come in at that particular time. Yeah. So a lot of the time, you know, it's about checking out who's in, and you know, I'm gonna try and, you know, do a great haircut. I need the music there. I need to feel good, you know. It shows in your work, you know. If you're having a good day and you feel really good. And I've just about 6 weeks ago, I hurt my back, so I was taking some painkillers. And on Saturday, I had 3 or 4 clients that came in that loved their hair 6 weeks ago, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I was under the influence of a few painkillers. Just out of interest, what did you really like about it?
I know all about that one. See, when you messaged me the other night when I was in A&E, I was the first time they gave me endo. Yeah, I can't remember really talking to you. Anyway, I know I'm going to steal this question off of my good friend Dom Lahane from How to Cut It podcast, and it is always what you can tell a lot about someone when they answer this question. What is the one song that gets you up on the dance floor?
Oh my God, that is clever. I come from a lot of house music. You know, back in the day, the house music was my thing, but you know, over the last 12 months or so was maybe Dance Monkey, Torres, Tones. Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. You know, anything gets me up on the dance floor, really. You know, we used to love, that's why I don't drink. And
welcome to an elite club.
I drank from 16 to 18, and that's what you did. You know, you tried it. And the reason why I stopped is because we wanted to go out and we went clubbing and we were dancing. You know, Manchester was our place of going out, so it was early house music and raves, and you know, you wanted to dance all night. You know, so you couldn't have drinks, and I probably would have been a better dancer, but you know, you had to survive on water and that kind of thing. So those were great days, and even. You know, you get inspiration from, you know, the early Manchester music, you know, Oasis. And, you know, there's a big thing going on in Bradford at the moment that I was watching the other night. And you come across things, and it's probably early days, but these guys, you know, they're fully getting into the mullet. And I know Clive and I did a great workshop a few years ago where I was pushing a mullet, you know, and I just love seeing things fester and happen. And there's like 5 guys that have put a group together, you know, from Bradford in England, and they, you know, they've all got mullets, and you kind of just go, you know, the music is so raw.
I love it.
That there's a culture. It's happening, you know, and I love things that are happening, and you see it from the early. Because like I said, when we talked about, you know, mullets a couple of years ago, and it took a while, and you know, done right, it's a great haircut, and it's come in and out many years. There's a lot of awful ones, but you know.
When it's done right, I call it the moulet.
The moulet. Anyway. Well, the other thing is now they're having what they call the lawn mullet, and the lawn mullet is because everybody now, because they can't go out and see everybody, they're all in the front lawn so they can talk to the neighbours. So the front lawns look great and the backyards look dreadful. So it's the lawn mullet.
I love it. Our times have changed. You used to have to live in a tower block to have a mullet. But anyway, which is sort of bringing us towards the end. And Judi, we have some exciting news.
We do. Yes. We have our.
We'll send you one, Cam.
Oh.
We're masking up So these, so our masks that we, all of us down here in Victoria, masks are compulsory. So we have done another pivot in our household, and we now have Scout and Indy making masks. So this is sort of something that's come about in the last couple of weeks, and they are utilising local material shops. So, it's all about keeping locals and supporting local business, and creating these cotton masks so they're nice and comfortable to wear, for work, for, when you're in, I've used them, when I'm doing hair, when I'm at the Mac office, we have to wear them, and also for walking and exercising, they're great as well. So, Puki masks, Puki masks. If anyone's interested in a mask, you can jump onto Instagram. They're on Instagram and supplying masks. So it's,
I love them.
The pivot on pivot.
Do you know what I love about it? Because obviously I have a Shrek head, but it actually fits, and it doesn't steam up when I'm wearing glasses. The surgical ones, I'm just over them, to be honest with you. And the other thing is Scout was so lovely is to make Lulu one. So she does kids ones as well. And Lulu is actually, you saw them earlier on, the girls have gone to the shops, both wearing their masks, and they are fabulous. So, yeah, I can't recommend them enough. But, no, congratulations. It's all about pivoting, turning, and try not to fall off.
Yeah.
Cameron, it's been a pleasure to have you on with us this morning. And again, something new. Thank you, Judi.
Pleasure. Thanks, Cameron. It's been amazing to learn more about you. I know I've met you, and it's been a pleasure to be in the salon with you guys up there in Noosa, and I can't wait to do that again. But I just love that you have shared with us today, more about who you are. I love getting to know that planning side of you, because that's, a lot of what I do as well, and your inspiration and your insights. And I think something we can all identify with what you've said today is that the saying yes. I love the fact that you continue to say yes. And so thank you for saying yes to the Dane.
Yes.
What you've created has been...
She's so happy.
Phenomenal.
Good evening. Yes. No, it's been awesome. So we'll be doing a few more of these, guys. We're going to be getting some more guests on. I'll keep you posted on the breakage. And Jude, is there anything else we need to cover before signing off?
I think that's it. For today. I think we've covered a lot, and but just everyone stay safe, please. We keep saying it. Keep your sanitising going, even for those of you who are in states other than Melbourne and other countries. We're not out of the woods with this, and a second wave can happen at any time, as we're experiencing. So, it's one of these things that you just got to be as safe as possible, and please do that, because we're all here, and we want everyone to be as safe as possible.
That's right. Our thoughts and prayers and love and kindness goes to everyone in Victoria. This too shall pass, and utilise this time to do things you've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
So thank you, Cameron. Thank you, Judi.
Thanks,
and we'll be doing more of this. And please, everyone out there, thanks to everyone at Mark, Scott and Janelle, everyone that makes all this possible every week. But it's Monday. Go and enjoy the day, whatever it is you need to do. Try and make sure it's profitable. All right. Have a good one. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.